who knows how many people are going to come to the Lord because you and I wear eyelashes. You just don't know how God's going to use it.
Seriously, it could be all about the eyelashes. Well, first of all, I want you to tell me the name of your book and what inspired you to write that particular book. I know you had mentioned that it started with the blog, but what was the mindset for writing that book?
Yeah. So the book is called The Great Cover-Up, and the tagline is Inspiring Women to Be Real, Relevant, and Ready. And the first part of the book, the first chapter, is the story of what inspired it. And so 2010, I believe, I was getting ready. I was in a phase where I was ready to go back to work after staying home with my kids for a lot of years, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a business degree before the internet existed, so I knew like that wasn't really an option. So I just kind of had this romantic idea of like, oh, what if I had a job that changed people's lives, and and I wanted to work for a nonprofit. And long story short, I just started sending out resumes, and one of the first people to call me back was a homeless shelter in Akron for women. And I ended up getting hired there with no social services background, nothing. And I remember the first week going to this job, and one of my first things I had to do was go to a staff meeting where they would go through the roster and talk about what brought this woman to the shelter. And Angie, I mean, you and I live in suburbs, and I was hearing words like addict and felon and convict and drug dealer and prostitute, words you don't hear in the suburbs. And I just started crying because, like, I'm thinking, whoa, I can't relate to women that have this in their lives. And so I came home and cried about it and told Wally that I think I need to quit because I am not equipped to do this. And then another long story short, I went to work the next day, and just through an encounter with this precious little girl, God showed me that, Joy, this is where I want you, and you have everything inside of you that you need to serve here. You're just keeping it covered up. And so that's why I called it the Great Cover-Up, because some of the things that I was covering up, Angie, was the sin of pride. I thought that I could come in there, I thought that I was supposed to come in there and save them. In return, they pretty much saved me.
Wow.
I learned that I had so much more in common than a woman who was experiencing homelessness than I thought. We both were moms and loved our kids, and the only thing that separated me from them was maybe one bad decision. And I also realized I had some qualities and some giftedness that I was not willing to be vulnerable and share. So the book is just inspiring women to, like, wherever God places you, He's going to equip you.
God's leading with that. So the book is called The Great Cover-Up. Where can people get it?
So my mom has about 200 in her basement. No, I don't think she has any. You can get it on Amazon. It's probably the best place to get it.
Okay.
It's on Amazon. Yeah. It's just my story. And it's not all my story, but the very first part is just me being really raw and authentic about some sin I had in my life. And I even talk about some struggles with mental health, and I had to be open about that because a lot of these women were suffering with mental health issues, and I wanted to keep it to myself so that I would look like this all-together woman. And when God broke me and said, you need to share your brokenness as part of your healing, and I began to talk with them about how I managed my mental health. And so, that's another passion I have right now, is trying to get women to realize that do not live in secret if you're struggling with depression or anxiety, because only what you bring to the light can God heal. When I started sharing my story, people did think of me different. They thought of me being brave. They thought of me being courageous. And that's the difference. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't ever want to be satisfied with where I am in so many areas of my life, including my eyes. Yeah. And I think, Angie, I watched you take some big risks, and it inspired many through your writing and your speaking, and now this. And, like, isn't it exciting that there's always something? I mean, like, you're trying new things.
Yes, it is. It's incredible to me to think like that, just the way that God works and how He puts something in your head, and if we would only just act on those things more often, like we would be so much more beneficial for His work, But I think so often, like you said earlier in the conversation, we're insecure and we don't take those risks to wear eyelashes or new makeup or whatever because we're unsure. But if God gives you something in your head and He gives you an idea, man, to be able to just go with it and just say, Lord, I trust you. I don't know what I'm doing. And yeah, I've seen you take those kind of risks so often, Joy. And one of the many things that I love about you is that you are an encourager and you are a dream chaser. And it seems like every time you have an idea, you just go for it. And if I have an idea, you tell me to go for it. That's definitely a gift, because you are gifted in encouraging other people. And so I'm thankful for that in you.
Well, thank you. I just feel like God, if you are a child of God, if He is your Lord and Savior, we've all been given a gift. And if you look through the Bible, it's not an option, to use it. He's given you a gift, and He is expecting us to use it. And I think sometimes some of the greatest ministry opportunities for me have when I have just stepped out in faith on that giftedness. And one of the things I also love to do is, so I'll be 56 in October, is I don't want women to think that the best years are behind them. Like, for me, the best season is the one I've yet to experience. And God can use us. So if we still have breath in us, God can use us. And I want women, what I call like their second act, to as an empty nester, my ministry looks a lot different than it did 10 years ago because I have more time. I even have some more resources that, we need to serve Him until the day we take our last breath. And also I think this is good for our children to see that, we don't, I heard someone say, you don't retire from something, you should always retire to something. And so I would say COVID is not a gift, but look at the gift that you've been given during this time. All of our calendars have been wiped clean, and now you have a chance to rebuild it. Look for the gift of the time. I would also say, think about how you can come out of this different, and even in some small way. And some of us probably have never even had time to even think about anything we want to try. And try something new. Whether it's wearing false eyelashes or whether it is just simplifying your closet. I mean, stretch yourself, and be able to look back on this time and say, you know what, it was hard, but I made it, and look at what the gift was. And just keep thinking of the gift.